Alright, welcome back to the next episode of my Aegis VOD reviews of OCE versus Broken Wombat. Last time Morpice beat Beastlimer and they put in CameronHanzo after Beastlimer. This should be a decent matchup for us, although I think most of our matchups are pretty decent against Broken Wombats. That's at least what my team was saying.
Oh yeah, sweet.
And right now we've got Deep versus Taliyah Ziggs. If you watch the first video, you'll know that I don't really think this Taliyah Ziggs list is very good, but I don't think any Taliyah Ziggs lists are very good. The best one I've seen is Aragon's, but, you know, maybe I'm biased by the results. This list runs no Quicksand, no Hexplosive Minefield, no Desert Naturalist, and no... There's one other card that they don't run that I'm going to kick myself for not remembering, but there are 4 cards that they should be running that they're not. And so it makes me struggle to think of this as a very strong list. Now, Taliyah Ziggs does have blowout potential against a deck like Deep, if Deep sort of doesn't have enough interaction or big units, and they get their Taliyah plus Absolver or a bunch of 5/5s before we get our sea monsters. But because of the way the decks are built, where there's no Explosive Minefield and there's no Desert Naturalist, the sort of like massive explosive turns that you might expect from a deck like Taliyah Ziggs simply aren't as prominent. So I think a deck like Deep can sort of slow it down with the way that the Taliyah Ziggs list has a sort of slower game plan in that sense. But we can watch the video game.
Deep versus Taliyah Ziggs.
Oh, Deep?
Yeah, Deep versus Taliyah Ziggs. Dual Hunter seems good, right? It only loses the Pokey Stick, but allows us to threaten Ziggs. Okay, never mind.
So to talk about this mulligan, I wanted to have Dual Hunters. I understand why not, obviously. It dies to Pokestick, but I thought that one of the ways that we lose this matchup is not having ways of dealing with stuff like Ziggs. So I thought that having Dual Hunters might give us a way to deal with Ziggs, but I think mulliganing it away and like being okay with drawing it later might be fine. But this is a good hand. We've got a bunch of toss units as well as Abyssal Eye. I don't think it's a bad hand at all. We've got what we sort of want against a deck that's slightly aggressively slanted.
Not being able to deal with it.
Oh, well, we've got it anyway, so it's fine. They can H and Hourglass as well, that is something.
This Pokestick is interesting because it protects our Dual Hunters from Pokesticks in future, which is interesting that they just played it so early. Obviously, they're trying to stem early aggression and probably draw a card because their hand might not be the greatest and they don't have anything to spend spell mana on. But it's just interesting to see the Pokestick here when it could have been used for something like a Dual Hunters later on.
Let's say Morpice does lose. I think it might be better if I actually go into Cameron.
Okay.
Because if I win and then lose to Beeble somehow, you have slightly a bit odd, right? Then like...
I genuinely don't know. I'm just scared of Beeble's lineup because I'm scared of everyone.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to think I'll win, but there's the chance that I don't, and then, you know, I'll crash. And plus, one of them's a mirror, right? While against Hanzo, it's not a mirror.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Well, we'll think about it if Morpice does, but I don't think Morpice will. Look like a cheeky Frio angle for Morpice. Maybe. Oh, never mind. GG won't play it. It's kind of toxic.
We're 10 away from Deep.
We can probably go Deep next turn. If
we lost an Atro and a Salvage.
Go Deep turn 7. Which is good. Actually, no, we go Deep now. On the basis of them killing something.
I just can't wait. Here we go. Another day, another explosion.
But I guess those plays the new.
So, I don't know what the good draws and the bad draws are for Deep, because I've not really played much Deep. But watching this, having the Sea Scarab on the board, having the Abyssal Eye to draw a card on turn 5, and having two jettisons in hand to sort of like surprise deep them, while they're like a massive combo of having Taliyah and these 5/5s and 6 makes me think that we had a pretty good draw. I can imagine a world where if we have one less like dredges and one less jettison or something, that we're not able to go deep, then we start treating down and then the board starts not being in our favor. So I think from that perspective, I think we had a good draw, but it's hard to say that Hanzo didn't have a good draw when they have two champions and two 5/5s, even if they had the pokey stick on the stack. So I wonder if this is like a pretty exemplary game of like a regular version of how this would work. Because I'm not a deep player or a Taliyah Ziggs player, I feel as if my commentary is a bit
actually really fine for
lackluster.
You sure?
Yeah. Because I don't think they're killing you next turn.
Are we not scared of Absolver?
Not right now though. Because we just go deep and we can chump block majority and then we can just do like deep stuff. Because they can't really deal with our Nautilus.
Okay.
And this was really
This is
funny.
funny.
Yeah.
This is very, very humorous.
Yeah, because these obliterate fishes will be really, really good.
And they don't have double Absolver anymore. Oh, Lamoakai is nearly upgraded.
We can play it alongside double oblit first, and then we just refill our board.
We just need to make sure we're playing that Absolver properly. Does this player in Absolver?
I mean, you take less damage.
So the main point of concern with how to do these blocks is how you want to deal with a card like Absolver. Absolver, for example, will keep Ziggs alive and make Taliyah do overwhelm stuff. Although remember that we're probably going to be killing Ziggs with Obliterate Fish, even if the Absolver goes through. Sometime over the next few turns. So if they play the second half of Absolver on Taliyah, we're taking an extra 5 damage, and if they do both halves, we're taking an extra 7 damage, which put us down to what, like 7 plus 5 is 12, so we'd be down at 6 or 4. Which sounds bad, but what you must realize is that we've got Nautilus, who is a big blocker. They're only running one Absolver in their deck. Their only other method of overwhelm is Herald of the Aegis. So I think it's fine to sort of make them do Absolver, and we get the kill on the Ziggs, so they have to split their Absolver. While if we block the other way around, we wouldn't be threatening the kill on the Ziggs. I think this block is fine. But that's why I think we've blocked in this way. It's sort of saying, okay, even if you've got Absolver, we're willing to take this damage, that's okay. We're going to be threatening the kill on the Ziggs, and if Ziggs doesn't die, we've still got Obliterate Fish to try and kill Ziggs over the next couple of turns. Whenever we find
It's
the most
over
fitting.
here.
It's 8.
No, it's 8, sorry, we're going to
Voices? But it's fine. We can kill it like straight up, so it's not.
And it'll take a long time for them to kill 3 landmarks.
Maybe Morpice wanted to get it out. Like, Morpice probably knows this, right? Like, he thought about it, so.
An issue, obviously, with this sort of play is Zonya. I'm pretty sure they run Zonya as a tour. So...
Yeah, and we have Vengeance, which is like okay if they don't have Deny in hand. If they
Right,
do
negation.
this, then it's fine, yeah.
Zonya. If they've got another Ziggs, we're like super fucked.
We have Poopy, yeah. It's a, yeah.
So my comment there is that if they've got a Ziggs, then we can't let this happen, because they play Ziggs, we'll have to attempt to kill Ziggs, but if they've got another Zonya, it's just sort of, it threatens a lot. luckily we've got 2 bits of fast speed interaction with Nautilus as Riptide and Vengeance, and if we do either of these, we're able to afford still Obliterate Fish.
Do we go for like Nautilus here?
I don't hate Nautilus at all. Yeah, I like this a lot.
What makes Nautilus interesting is that it means we can Vengeance Taliyah next turn, provided they don't have something like a Rite of Negation. But that's about it. I'm sure that my commentary for this is pretty obvious, because I don't know if there's that much interesting going on, because I don't
No,
know
just
these
do
decks
the
very
other
well.
fish on the woman, right?
You could justify. I mean, Pokey is a consideration. You actually could do it. Well, now you do it on the Ziggs.
Yeah, because I guess we're not blocking Taliyah with Nautilus. Are we dead? This looks like we got.
It's a block at least once. Why are we double blocking now?
Well, they might have Absolver.
Are they on double absorb?
Yeah. No, they're on one. You're right. They're only.
So they're blocking like this because they're scared of Atrocity. If they get hit by any of these 7/7s, they lose, in quotes, to Atrocity. Now, I say in quotes because they might have something like a Rite of Negation, in which case this wouldn't be unnecessary. Wouldn't be unnecessary? Wouldn't necessarily be lethal. But what's good about this attack is that now they can't threaten a go wide attack. If they only blocked a Nautilus, went down to 3 HP, but had 2 extra swingers, they would be threatening 2 extra damage on the open, and then they've got the Scrappy Bomb, which would maybe kill us in 2 turns, provided they have another fearsome blocker at some point in the video game. So it's an interesting option for CameronHanzo to do which one they want. Obviously, if they go a wide attack, they could also be threatening Pokestick. We've obviously got Response. We've got Vengeance, and we do have stuff like Undergrowth in our deck. So that sort of line by them isn't guaranteed, right? But that is an alternative way this game could have gone from the side of CameronHanzo. But the reason they're doing this block is because they've got the Fear of Atrocity. Now, I know we tossed one earlier, but we should have 2 in the deck as far as I'm aware.
Okay, so
They're double blocking to play around Astro, by the way.
oh yeah, right. It was just so fast. It wasn't like even a split fort, you know. It's like I want to play this.
Interesting that they had the Forsaken Bakai. It would still only be 5 wide because the Scrappy Bomb taking up a landmark's place, but they could have definitely gone wide here.
One thing that I really like about splitting my audio tracks is I can listen to music and it won't go in the audio. Because I'm not recording. I'm only recording you, me, and the game. It's fantastic.
I'll try not be your audio then, or like your music.
Nah, the house was loud. I wanted to block out the house noise.
Oh, yeah.
And like this music is not loud enough in the game. The board is too quiet. Okay, so if their last card is Absolver, we're fine. If the last card is Vengeance, we're fine. Okay, we win. We don't beat top decks. Oh, we beat top deck Ziggs as well, though, right?
Well, they can't top tick it because we have Malco. They have no chance.
Yeah, I mean, we just Vengeance here and we've got a fearsome attacker.
Just in case you're not familiar with this interaction, I don't know what sort of audience watches this, if they know every single interaction or not, but since Maokai obliterates all champions in the deck, they cannot get Ziggs here, which means they cannot do Ziggs' 2 Nexus burn per landmark destroyed.
Yep.
Okay, this also works fine. I guess like fearsome doesn't matter, they're at 17, not 13. But I don't think there's any top decks besides double Pokey.
Right, and those odds are very low.
They're unlikely, but we may as well play it. Well, now we win. I think we beat double Pokey. We probably pre-commit the Vile Beast, don't we?
Well, we could definitely just lure here.
I think we pre-commit.
Lure and get like Shipwreck.
That's fine. There's no reason to. Cool! Oh, that's very...
Morpice is so good at deep. It's insane.
And that was that game. I don't think... So, look, I think this looks like a stuck standard game of Deep versus Taliyah Ziggs where they both draw... Okay. I'm not going to say that they drew poorly, but they did not have a Rite of Negation and they did not have I don't think they had anything to play on too. I presume Rockhopper would have been better than most of the things they wanted to play on too. And they didn't have Herald of the Aegis, which might have been better than Absolver for them. So I don't think they got a particularly fantastic hand. Well, I think we definitely got one of our upper tiers of hands. But that seems like a general way of how that matchup should go anyway.
With is Seraphim.
And I mean, someone's not running Hexblaze's Minefield and someone's not running Desert Naturalist. So,
Because they might think that Echo Jinx, not Echo Jinx, other thingamajiggy. What's it called? I guess not. Doesn't matter. They could have thought like Jinx Zoe is just like bad into like bar and stuff.
I could not tell you a single thing about any deck that isn't my 3 decks at the moment.
that is
I
still
don't know
true.
any of their matchup tables.
Mm-hmm.
Elusives are actually pretty decent into Rise, but I don't know about that Jinx version, because that Jinx version is a lot more volatile. But if you're on like full Elusives, you can probably beat, like, not Rise, sorry, Seraphim. You can probably beat Seraphim like pretty consistently.
So our hand is really good for a deck like Hanzo's deck, where they've got a bunch of units that we need to interact with. I guess it's boring to say this, but basically, like, against like mid-range and aggro, you want to have your numbers-based removal so you can, you know, slow them down. And then against like control decks, you want to have your value cards, right? But having Pokey and some Fumes and Drop the Bomb means that you can sort of like kill their stuff as soon as possible to protect your stuff. I think this is like a pretty decent hand. All it's missing is the
This is
6
a
mana
good-
landmark.
Yeah, this is a really good hand. We
This-
want to pressure in a way where the Hourglass doesn't really gain value when we can like Thermo. So we really want them to be on the back foot so they can't really have available mana.
I am a student. Too slow, stupid. Comrades. Rise and shine, sleepy dudes.
Interesting.
This is correct. The Rock Bear getting like discounted is like actually insane.
So I know Annie says actually insane. I don't think it's overly insane, but there is definitely a world where that rock bear comes out. Well, hold on. Let me think about this. So the friend will have countdown 2 by next turn. They've got 4 mana. There's a world where they do count down this and attack us with it next turn. So it does make sense to kill the rock bear shepherd. I just don't know if that hand is particularly likely. They would need to have like Forsaken Bakai and Ziggs, or like Rockhopper and Forsaken Bakai or something. They could also have Rock Bear Shepherd plus Forsaken Bakai? No, I think that would make both of those landmarks be at 1 if that was the case. And so I find it interesting that we're killing this only because they only have 1 attack token next turn where it could possibly get value. If it counts down on our attack token, there's no difference between our attack token and their attack token with it having been counted down. Now, this obviously isn't the only landmark that it can count down quickly. It can count down the 3/3s, like Last Breath one, and there are obviously other landmarks in the deck. So obviously this can get more value later on if it's not killed right now, but I find it interesting to see that we've used 4 mana to kill a 3 mana thing where most of its value was in summoning a 5/5 in a few turns, and we haven't actually interacted with the 5/5 at all while they still got a 3/1 on the field. If they were able to count down the landmark next turn, this would definitely be something scary, and it would mean that we should have killed the 1/3 in order to buy us more time, not take 5 damage, and do things. But we have to kill the 5/5 anyway at some point, so I'm not entirely sure if this is the right play. I say this because I think this is also the same with a deck like Red Gwen, where if you can afford the Quietus, feel free to Quietus it. But something like Blade's Edge Flock is probably better spent on something else than the 1/3. Unless you're scared of the 1/3 itself being a blocker because you're getting a big tempo swing attack on your next turn. I think the way that this 1/3 works is really interesting, and I think it looks like something we should be killing quickly, and sometimes it is. But I'm not sold about that just yet, and I'm curious to see if there's any like agreements on that, because I don't know. I'm just not sold that spending 4 mana to kill a 1 strength unit that may or may not make a 5 strength unit a turn early. And I mean, by a turn early, I mean a turn early based on when they can attack us. Is all that important.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, you can do it. You can kill it next turn. It's kind of good killing it next turn because you don't want them to get another rock bear coming out with Taliyah. Oh, never mind. Not now. You just really hope they don't have a Taliyah hand because then they just have 3 rock bears.
If the 1/3 was still around, this landmark wouldn't be in play, and both of these would have 1 countdown, as far as I'm aware, because the one that would have been here when this was played would have counted this down to 2. And when this was played, these both would have been counted down to 1. I think that's how that works, although I've not played with Rockbear Shepherd. Maybe it would put 2 countdowns on the same thing. So I'm inclined to think it would be better to not have played something. Now, they might have had the 3/3 and not the Rockbear Shepherd, and if they had the 3/3, then there would have been the 5/5 being played. But I don't know. I just think that's a different line that I saw. That could have been a possibility. I've got to work on the pacing of these. I saw Drizoth upload a VOD review wherein he adds his comments in the subtitles feature. Now, I think that's an interesting idea, and if you're actively watching, I like that as an idea, but I think that audio content is more enjoyable just because it fills your senses, and it's a much more pleasurable watching experience. So I'm not sold on the subtitles as a mechanic, but like I'm pausing a lot, and there's dead time right now, and if I had just said what I wanted to say during this dead time, would have been better. I think using subtitles increases brevity as well. I think that's also a decent reason to try and do it. This attack and this block and the playing of Seraphine I think is all fine here.
I mean, not now.
I think it makes sense just trying to block down and be fine into things.
So this rock bear doesn't do anything anymore. No need to kill it.
Annie said this rock bear doesn't do anything anymore, no need to kill it. I think that logic can be applied for the first rock bear. I think. Therefore, obviously, I am.
Second bar or controllers?
You might need controllers here just to survive.
Yeah, so bar's a really powerful card, but I think controller just makes sense here in this position, just obviously because you want to play a unit, and just being able to block is good. But there are lines where like second bar is correct and you just outvalue them even harder. You've got to realize that this board doesn't just have a 1/3 on it, it's got a 1/3 and 2 5/5s, and we do need to block them. We can't just use our removal spells on them just like solely.
You're just so mega scared of Taliyah here.
Ooh, Porosaurus!
Oh, that is so good. Okay. Porosaurus is insane of a buff.
Yeah, I mean, we were running it in Victor Rise, because it was just really good.
That's insane. You just bar question mark? Or
I
do we
guess
die?
we're just barring. Taking a lot, but trying to start winning later. Bar makes us take a lot of damage, but we're not taking any less damage with any other play.
I think that point's really important, alright? Like, I think the instinct might be if you're being pressured by a lot, you can't play bar here. But because they are probably attacking on their next action, the bar play and any other play are probably equidistant. The only reason not to do that is if you really want to play all of your spells before you play bar, but then you're starting to lose some value. Now, obviously, you can play bar on your turn and then get like all of your mana back anyway. And so if you really wanted to do something like, I don't know, High Note and Mystic Shot to kill the 4/4 when you block, I can see why you wouldn't want to play bar, but I think bar just makes
We
the
might
most
need
sense.
to sacrifice Seraphine.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
So we block down everything. They're dealing 9. Yeah, that's fine. And we're on 7.
Here, we got the fucking
Oh my
Herald
goodness.
of Spring. We can heal 1 HP. It's gonna be right at the
Everyone-
arcade, I'm sure.
Everyone's favorite Aurelia follower in Path of Champions, Herald of Spring.
But we can pour our story, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's correct. I mean, I don't know. Like, you don't want to give us the availability to keep up Seraphine.
I mean, we have to block with Seraphine anyway.
It's close. Like, not if we have Herald now. But Hourglass is something.
Am I stupid? When did we plunder? Did we plunder?
Alright, I'm starting to lose the conversation, but that's okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, if we can keep up Seraphine.
At stay at what HP?
No, we'd be at
2. Wait, would we be at 3? If we were at 3, then maybe it was worth it.
We had the option of keeping Seraphine alive or blocking with Seraphine. Blocking with Seraphine allows us to have more HP, which means we can not die to Ziggs landmark popping, but keeping Seraphine alive is like part of our game plan, or we can just block with Seraphine, try and get value with other ways. Because we got this Herald of Spring, the way this game changes is sort of interesting, where we can possibly argue going down to 3 just because we have Herald of Spring and able to buff up our board back. And we might need to double up on these removal spells because their units are all 5/5s. So I think it's interesting to not have blocked with Seraphine
worth it?
and consider it.
Ooh. Oh, we can do a
it's actually really
really
funny.
good Herald of Spring. Like, because we can also buff it up by +2.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually such a good card, Holy.
Yeah.
Holy
The only thing we're
cannoli.
scared of is Ride of the Arcane. And also Legazonia.
And self-poking.
We can actually kill Ziggs here as well. Obviously it loses the stuff, but it's an option.
Well, if they Ride of the Arcane, we can kill 6. Okay, well now we can kill 6.
No, we refrain.
Is that better? I guess it is, yeah. Okay.
They need pokey, and then if not, then we're healing from 9.
Well, they would have poked it just now.
Yeah, it would.
Cool. And we can try and kill 6 next turn. Wow, this deck is kind of strong. I still think Shadow Atlas is better, but I can. Yeah.
I think any Seraphine deck's really good. Like, we're just winning because double bar here.
Yeah.
And then we'll eventually win because of Israel. But even Israel just slowly flips.
Yeah.
So we're doing this now because...
Ride of the Arcane, I guess. No, Ride of Negation, I guess.
Right. Okay, well, I guess that's kind of good. Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
This Herald of the Magus was really strong. Our numbers-based removal deck struggles with plus HP buffs.
We're taking 10, and then 3 more with the Scrappy Bomb. So we're at 1 HP if we don't block with Ezreal. And we're at 2 HP if we block with Ezreal.
We can signpost here.
Trying to stop 2 damage.
Yeah.
Or 4.
Oh no, we
depending on
can't.
how
We
go.
actually can't.
Yeah,
with
it's
the
a
skill.
So we're going down to 1 HP. Yeah. And we're also losing to Zonya if we do that.
By 1 HP, because the Scrappy Bomb ping is the Nexus for 1, and then -2 from the Ziggs passive as well.
What's our... Okay, so we need, like, rummage. We need to rummage away this removal
Yeah, I think so.
and try and find wallet.
I like that. And if they got Zonya, we want to signpost it, I guess. And there's also like Absolver that we're scared about though. I guess we're losing to Absolver no matter what, so we should just rummage here.
They don't have Absolver. Oh no, that was last game when they played Absolver. Never mind.
It just feels like we know that we're kind of losing.
We got our... okay.
So Annie wanted us to discard the damage-based removal. We don't need damage-based removal much anymore. We really need Seraphine and a win condition. Damage-based removal is going to have a hard time killing the Ziggs at this point, and so if we get a wallop, we might be able to delay Ziggs by a turn or so we're not dying to Pokey Stick or other like countdown landmarks, or just like, you know, Rolling Sands or something, right? Now damage-based removal obviously makes some sense to give in hand, because if we draw Seraphine naturally, then the damage-based removal can kill stuff, namely Ziggs. But it sort of becomes a gamble of whether you want to remove the damage-based removal to have a higher chance of getting an okay play, which would be Seraphine without any damage-based removal in hand, or do the more higher risk line of trying to draw Seraphine naturally and keep our damage-based removal for killing Ziggs. Sort of up to you what sort of thing you think is more worthwhile. You might say that getting Seraphine here gives you a higher chance of winning, or you might say that we have at least any chance of winning if we top deck for Seraphine as opposed to rummaging away the only way that Seraphine helps us win the game. It's sort of close. I think I would have rummaged here, but I can see why you wouldn't.
They don't have Pokey. They would have done it if they had it.
Seraphine?
You are allowed
We're
to.
throwing away.
You can argue that you're allowed to wait a turn for this sort of play. Like, you can wait before you do the rummage, whether you want to discard Ezreal's Mystic Shot, whether you want to see if you top deck Seraphine naturally. Obviously, with Mystic Shot, and some fumes, you can threaten Ziggs, but with how Ziggs
Or we're
works,
killing Ziggs. Just one of the
most
two.
of the cards in their hand might not permit it to work, like
Do you
an
have a thought
Absolver or
We just try
Rummaging.
and kill Ziggs now.
or another Ziggs, or luckily we can beat Rat of
Yeah, we just
Negation
kill Ziggs now.
and Zonya, but it's not a great feeling nonetheless.
I mean, we don't need to play around the signpost.
We're out of negation.
Yeah. We don't need to play around it because of the signpost.
If it's Zonya, we're fine. If it's Absolver, we lose.
No, because they do it on their turn now, right? So it gives us some time to find stuff? Okay.
Okay.
This is fine. Yeah. And then we would flip Israel.
If we had done Puzzling Signpost first, I think we would have done 2 damage to the Nexus with our Mystic Shot. Because Ezreal flipped by... No, because you need to target spells. No, okay. But you're targeting the deny. Is Ezreal's flip condition target enemies? Ezreal's flip condition, I presume, is target enemies, because otherwise Rummage would level him up. Alright, then this was right. Good job, Morpice. I'm dumb. Hopefully I edit this out so I appear smart.
We can win in 2 turns.
Never mind, I'll turn this into a learning experience. Do what Morpice does. He's smart. You did this in the right order.
We need to probably rummage now.
So I wanted to go back on what Annie and I were saying about discarding cards. I don't know if we just didn't see that Ezreal can get 2 more Nexus burn and kill the Ziggs. I can see why this would be a good play, and it might be a more winning line, since it's probably more likely that they don't have a way of beating this form of interaction than it is that we're likely to find Seraphine through a Rummage and still have a win condition. Right, you're weighing up these two odds. Rummage for Seraphine and lose the ways to kill a killer in it with Ziggs. Or if they don't have enough ways of protecting their Ziggs through stuff like an Absolver or like instead of this being an Ancient Prep being something else and two things in hand or something like that, right? I probably think Morpice did the correct line
clicking
here.
and Rift doesn't do anything, yeah.
It's just interesting.
Okay, Victor's insane. Oh, that's also really nice. We just play Victor though.
Yeah. And the other sputtering song spinner stuff will cost 4 less. Or 6 less. They'll cost 6 less?
It'll cost 3 less?
5 less. It's 5, don't worry.
Oh, right. Because
Yeah.
you're... Yeah, okay. Ooh. Wow. We just take this pass, right?
If they've got Pokey, they would always Pokey, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason not to waste it. The question is, do we Song Spinner? I think I would Song Spinner, but I know you guys are smarter than me.
Yeah, if you top deck Seraphine, you just win.
So I want to talk about this Song Spinner here now. And he says if you top deck Seraphine, you just win with the Song Spinner because you double all the 3 things you get. Ezreal will probably find a way to be in the Nexus or the value or whatever. You win with if you get Seraphine and Song Spinner in this position. I wanted to use Song Spinner in order to try and find something like a Pokey Stick to give us draw just in case they find stuff and they have 2 cards in hand that they can beat, but we need actions, right? If we get something at slow speed as well and they do something at like fast or unit speed, it might be difficult for us to have Song Spinner in order to guarantee our lethal. I don't know what sort of cards in their deck would allow something like that. It would be something like Pokey Stick or Ziggs or something that would allow them to get a lethal on our turn, which would make us want to have gotten slow speed value from Song Spinner then. But look, Annie says to keep Song Spinner for next turn because mana is meaningless. I think that's like a fine and logical play. I just wanted to like make the case for why Song Spinner might be good here, and it's all about like the speed of the cards that you might get. But Annie says if we get Seraphine, you know, we would be fine.
There's like some lines based on like top decking stuff, but not top decking stuff, like generating stuff, but yeah, like Seraphine now just wins you the game.
Yeah, and he got vindicated by the draw.
You should OCK, yeah.
Alright, let's jam.
Unless you get super unlucky. But you have what? You have already 8 damage here. Yeah, and then you can just keep playing this stuff as well. So obviously they were right, but you probably have lethal because you deal another 4. You're at least dealing 6, and then Song Spinner. So yeah, you always have lethal here.
Alright, so more pieces of 1.
Yeah, but you just let this go through. Wow, Morpice actually just sleeping.
And then he'll fight the second best attacking player. There you go. Entry. All burst speed. We don't even have to worry about second round negation.
What are you playing pre-patch Israel? Oh. At least we're killing him ethically.
Oh, are you ahead of... Oh, no.
No.
What does ethically mean?
Like, because, you know, everyone complains about, oh, this Israel is broken, we can't interact with the fast speeds, and then we just did it with burst speed spells, even though there is actually no difference.
You've got a weird mind for ethically.
Go.
Welcome back.
Yo, good job, Morpice.
Oh my goodness. Bro, going down to 1 was the scariest decision I ever made.
It was a really good line, though. We were justifying it, but I don't know, Cameron giving you the ability, like, keep up Seraphine and stuff, I don't know. It's like weird stuff there. But, yeah.
Oh,
I like.
bro.
I really like the just wait it out and then try and kill the Ziggs next turn.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, that was so fucking scary though. Holy shit.
Oh, these are close games, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, oh. At least this one was a 2-0.
Yeah, yeah it
Dude,
felt like
they keep letting me play deep.
yeah. Maybe Beeble will be like, no, this deep thing it must be good. I know like European players have you as like, I don't know, recognized only as like deep. Like
Yeah.
because like most European players are like control players, and then when they just hear deep, they just go, oh, that's Morpice, the deep guy.
I mean, it's a good deck.
It's really good now.
Yeah. Holy shit. Okay. Aatrox coming back. Okay, so I'm still iffy on this one's ban.
Okay, so it's the Heimer Jace, right? Like, I don't know if you ban it, but that's the extra deck, the Heimer Jace. So the Jinx Zoe deck loses probably into Heimer Jace. Like, there's chances where you can win though. Like, you can try and just like find a way where they're just behind, right? Because they have to like tax a lot of the time, and then you can kind of just go super wide or like Purifying Flames or something. But it's close. Like, I think that Rise deck only wins for Assembly Bot, but it takes time. It's really tough.
Yeah.
I think just go with what you feel the most comfortable to try and beat. 'Cause I'm not actually sure if you beat the
I
mirror.
think I probably banned Jace Heimer.
Okay. Because I think they're keeping up Jinx, right?
Yeah, they definitely keep up Jinx with this lineup. And
and
I
you can
think
keep up.
that's the one that's gonna struggle the most.
They're probably going to be banning Deep then.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. That's what I've assumed every time, but they've not banned it every time.
Yeah.
But then again, this time it makes a lot of sense too. Yeah. Okay, so I'll go in and I'll ban Heimer Jace. So I think that one is probably the hardest matchup.
Okay.
Because the Rise Seraphim Victor can just also not find the assembly bots and then be kind of stuck for a while.
Yeah. I mean, the main way you're supposed to play it is like find bar and then assembly bot afterwards, right? Like that's the most reliable way.
Yeah. Okay. Alright. B-Ball's already fucking challenging me.
He's
Right.
ready to go.
Yeah, of course he'd be ready to go. I'm fucking like trying to
Yeah.
bing chill for a second while I collect my thoughts.
Yeah, you can take your time.
I'm a Jace is very hard to beat. Especially with piercing darkness. He's quiet as fuck. Yeah, that's way too hard. I'll ban the Heimer Jace. Alright, I'm going in.
Good luck. I believe it.
Do well, okay? I mean, have fun.
Well, you won't know that.
Okay. Then be aggressive, Morpice. Do to your heart's content and disrespect Broken Ball.
Yeah, second best talent of my you know Kikore?
Yeah, I know Kikore.
Kikore has 1,000 LP right now in Masters.
Oh, true.
Also, you know Santupi? I presume you know Santupi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Santa Pia.
Yeah. When he does the post for like Aegis is on, he tags a member from every team, right? I think that's how that works. Like on Twitter, you like have like 10 names.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think his default to me, which I think is really funny.
Really?
Yeah, because I got tagged the last 2 times, but I thought he would default to like you or Fate.
Yeah, he was defaulting to me for ages.
Yeah. I don't know
I
what
was
happened.
wondering. Yeah, I was wondering why I wasn't getting my Aegis stuff.
Yeah. Especially since you're like the team leader. I thought you would default to you.
Yeah, and Sandra Pierce talked to me about community stuff for OCE stuff as well. Oh, Morpice again.
Well, for me it says waiting for spectate session to start.
Oh, same.
I've never left this page of waiting for spectate session to start.
I thought it was bugged, so I went out, and then I was like, oh, spectate.
What did he ban? He's banning Climagex.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
I hope Morpice gets the triple O.
Yeah. It would actually be insane.
And I'll stop it there. Thank you for watching. I hope you've noticed a change in my audio quality. It'll probably change a little bit over the next few episodes as I get this microphone working better and better. But I've bought a new microphone. It was very annoying because I hate purchasing things. It makes me nervous to spend money that's more than like $10. But thank you for watching, and next up we'll have Morpice versus Broken Ball.